sound like, you know, come to this particular conference and this will happen. Here's the result. You'll get a contract. Come over here and do this. Get certified. You get certified. If you get certified, it almost seems as if people have a list of obstacles, right? So if you get certified, then this will happen. If you do this, that will happen. So I want to talk a little bit about what I do, but I want to talk about the realities from my perspective of supplier diversity. Now, we all know we cannot do this without people like Manetta from Toyota. We got some great people in supplier diversity, and you know that they'll be successful no matter what they do. And when I find people like that, I try to connect myself to them. So people like Manetta Stevens, you know she's the real deal, right? Our niece Lamb from Disney, the real deal. And I can say that because those are the kind of relationships that I seek to develop for the clients that I work with. So I resolve conflicts and connections. Let me show you how I do that in Washington. 2 years ago, the director of the Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency, David Henson, most of you know him, he was at the MSDC conference in Orlando. And I got a call from his office, and they said, Beverly, we know you've been trying to connect with him on behalf of this client. He's in Orlando. I said, great. I said, but how do I get to him? Every time you see him, he's got an entourage with him. How am I going to get to David Henson? I've met him a couple of times, but how do I do that? They said, well, we're going to tell you what hotel he's staying. I said, great. They said, he's got a press conference at 7 o'clock in the morning. So if you could be there in the lobby at 5:30 before the limo, you could meet him. So everybody knows I get up early, right? I'm the workout queen. I got up early in the morning. I took a cab from my hotel to his hotel, and here he comes. Now, you get this picture. He's got an entourage, and he's got this black woman. Here's what I said. David! Shouting at him at 5:30 in the morning. He will never forget me, first of all. Scared the man to death. Scared him to death. David, I need to talk to you. I said, listen, I've got a $250 million minority client that's based right here in Florida. And we would like for you to come and listen to some of our strategies and objectives for growth through the Minority Business Development Agency. He said, okay. I said, listen, meet me at door 13. We'll have a limo. The company got the limo, took David to the company. We sat down, met with their CEO and their CFO. He took a tour of their company. It was great. And then he asked the greatest question that anybody in supply diversity or any company would ever want to hear. What is it that you think I can do for you? How can I help? And you know, we have to be prepared for that question. When we're sitting down and we're talking to supply diversity people, and if they use their contacts and connections to get the right people in the room for you, and somebody asks you, what can I do for you? You better have a darn good answer. The company said, listen, we're working on is Mitzi here? Mitzi from Kaiser? Okay, good, I can tell the story. So they said, we just purchased a new technology, and we would like to get it tested. We already have FDA approval, and we'd like to get it tested. We're a minority-owned company. We'd like to get it tested. We needed a large group purchasing organization to test it with. David sat there for a minute. He said, well, you know, you go through supply diversity. They said, yeah, we can go through supply diversity, but we'd like to go at another level, if you don't mind, sir. And he said, all right, what if, he's an innovative thinker, what if we got President Obama to write a letter of introduction to the group purchasing organization? Well, you know, the company almost fell out of their chairs. Now, I know how things work in Washington, and I thought, how long is that going to take? You know, we need to make sales now. Right? My children have this habit, it's called eating, on a regular basis. They like to do it quite frequently. So when somebody tells me things like that, I think, oh gosh, how long is that going to take? I got to do something else. But you know what? David came through. He came back 2 weeks later and said, listen, we couldn't write the letter. I got a little bit of a kickback because we don't have a policy at the Minority Business Development Agency that would allow us to advocate for one company over another. I thought, see, that's what I thought. He said, well, give me a couple of months. And do you know he called me back in a couple of months? He had the letter. Could have knocked me over with a feather. We're now on our 7th meeting with that large healthcare organization. We would have never gotten in the door had I not gotten up, scared David to death, back at the MSDC conference, right, gotten his attention, put him in the limo, and taken him to the company. That's what I do, and that's what we all need to do. So the question becomes, what are you willing to do? There are certain things that take place at an entirely different level. And I've been fortunate enough to be in those rooms. Don't know how, but I'm sure I'm glad I'm there. There was the $1 Billion Roundtable Summit that took place in Seattle a little while back. And during that particular summit, Microsoft and J&J were inducted into the $1 Billion Roundtable. Now, the $1 Billion Roundtable is now 18 companies, publicly traded, who have spent in excess of $1 billion with diverse firms. Right? It's an exclusive meeting. I'm in that meeting. You know how I got in? Joan Robinson Berry, who was running supply diversity for Boeing, went to undergrad with me. Now, I didn't go to UCLA or USC, couldn't afford it. Didn't take the right prerequisite. I went to Cal Poly University in Pomona. Real happy about that. But that's how she got me in that room. She said, listen, I'm just going to get you in the room, and you do what you do. And when I went into that room, Dr. Sally Saba, I don't know if you guys know who she is, she'll probably be mad at me after this, but supplier diversity at a very high level, strategic thinking level with Kaiser, was sitting at my, just happened to sit at the same table as she did. And we had asked for an additional meeting. And they said, oh, you can have an additional meeting, but we're going to do it over teleconference. I don't want to have a teleconference call. It's kind of like standing behind this podium. I've been eating apples for a month to get into this suit. I'm not standing behind that podium. I want to have a live discussion with, I want them to see me and my client. That's just the way it works. So I said, you know, you have to watch how you couch things. I said, Dr. Saba, Beverly Kuykendall, oh yes, I remember you. You know, you can tell I'm not very shy. So people have a tendency to remember me. That's a good thing, sometimes. I said, Dr. Saba, we've been working with you on getting this meeting, and we understand that it's more efficient for Kaiser to have a conference call. She said, no, it's not that. But we know that many times diverse companies can't afford to do all the flying back and forth. I said, well, Dr. Saba, this is a $250 million company. They can handle it. They made a couple of acquisitions. They're minority business versus small business. So think of it this way. Minority Business Development Agency, you know that they're closing 4 regions, we'll talk about that, 5 regions. But Minority Business Development Agency is minority companies, not size relevant. The SBA, right, Catherine Clark, I saw you come in, love you dearly. The SBA is small businesses, totally different realm, totally different, and it's difficult because people think of minority as being small. And that's not necessarily true. And you know what? They treat us like that too, don't they, Ms. Joy? They treat us like that. Like we're small, you know, you're too small, and they make that assumption. So consequently, we never want to, some of us don't want to talk about the diverse piece. But at the $1 Billion Roundtable, they talk about the need for diverse firms, because the United States of America, I'd love to say that, the United States of America, our great country, needs diversity because we want to start doing business with other countries. We want the international marketplace to be our customer. And so we need people who look differently. And we already know that, right? Because all the large companies that are here, they all want to do business internationally as well. That's what they're looking for. So I'm sitting down with Dr. Saba, and I said, listen, we'd like to have an in-person meeting. She made her comment about how diverse companies really good. I said, listen, don't worry about it. And we were able to get a face-to-face meeting with them. The very last meeting, we finally got an agreement of what we're going to be doing next. There's a lot of meetings that take place, but that's a $40 million project. Why is that important to Kaiser? Because Kaiser wants to be in the $1 Billion Roundtable. So when you look at the disparity between where they are now and where they want to go, I want to solve that disconnect for them, don't you? I was in, where was the last NMSDC meeting? Atlanta, right? So in Atlanta, GE was there. And I happen to serve on the board with Andrea Rubel over there of the Healthcare Supplier Diversity Alliance, which is an organization of group purchasing organizations, all of the top healthcare organizations in the country and their supplier diversity. And he said, and Mike Lucas, who heads up supply diversity for GE nationally, said, Beverly, we've known each other for years. I like that. I think I like that. I'm getting to the point now where people know me. Well, people have known me for a long time. my good friend Ron Lee over there just introduced me to his daughter, and I remember when she was like 3 years old, thinking, oh my God. And I just saw Victor Parker walk in. I won't even tell that story from the SBA. But I lost my point because I'm so excited to talk to you and tell you all this information. But when you have an opportunity to sit at the right table and understand where people are coming from, like GE. So GE brought all of their key supply chain managers into that meeting. It was very exclusive. Everybody couldn't go. Now, it's interesting because I know a lot of people in this room were at the MSBC meeting. But the value of that conference for somebody like me is that I get invited to certain other meetings that are very exclusive because supplier diversity people are very savvy. If they're going to bring out their supply chain people, they want to make sure that they've got the right diverse companies sitting at the table that have the capability and the wherewithal to deliver. That's just the way it is. Right? It's not a charity program, and so you'll get this chance. When I look at Kaiser, I have people who come up and tell me, well, I want to sell gloves to Kaiser. And I think, okay. And you look at what they have, and they can't cash flow any more than $1,500 a month. No, John, but I'm just saying we have to be real. How much can they cash flow, and what are Kaiser's objectives? The same thing with GE. GE sat there and said, okay, listen, here's all of our key people. Certain of you have access, but we're going to tell you like it is, and we wouldn't tell this in an open forum, but I'm telling it now, so don't tell them what I told you. They said, you need to be able to cash flow us for between 90 and 120 days. We want to do business with diverse companies, but if you can't handle that cash flow, we really can't do business with you. And actually, isn't that all we want? I want to know the realities of how they want us to come to market and do business with them. That eliminated half the people, and there were only about 15 companies in that room. But I happen to have a client that was a $500 million WBE. Even though MSDC is minority companies, this was a WBE that could handle that particular volume. So that created an opportunity. If you're in the right room, and if you have the real capacity, and I mean the real capacity, because I'm no different than what I'm guessing supplier diversity people are like. Sometimes people complain, oh, they didn't call me back, and blah, blah, blah. I said, you know what, they're just not calling you back. Because they know that if they've got a high-level position and a lot of respect within their organization, they can only bring you to the table if you're ready. If you're ready. So we have a lot of in-between points, and there are companies in here today that are at a lot of different levels, and that's wonderful, and we all want to respect that. But I want us all to face the realities that I had to, just like I had to face the reality of it took me a long time to get back in the suit. I'm surprised at how old I am. Lord knows I'm surprised. Right? I get reminded every time I meet somebody's child. Victor Parker, who is the new district director of the Los Angeles office of the SBA, I used to work with his dad. I'm like, come on. I mean, did I start when I was 12? So, Victor, you know you cannot make claim to being any older than 20 years old. Okay, you're only 20, right, Victor? You go with me on that. Oh, my goodness. And so when you've been around a long time, you can handle the truth. So that at least we know how to position ourselves in the marketplace. And so if you're not ready, and I fully believe in what they've done with my clients, just like David Henson came back to Orlando, they conducted a competency, they vetted the company to make sure that if MBDA pushed this company forward, they could handle the business. They're not going to do that if we can't deliver. They might like you, but they aren't going to do it. So Minority Business Development Agency is my best friend. SBA taught me everything I know. Thank you, Catherine Clark. Right? But MBDA is a larger agency. And I spend quite a bit of my time in Washington, D.C. I'm not going to tell the casserole story, you guys. I'm not going to tell that story. You guys don't hear it, but I'm not going to tell it. I promise my God I'd never tell that story again. Who's heard the casserole story? 1, 2,